Memories. Memories.
Feel my heart, it's beat tight. Oh, my body's breathing. It's just you and me. Feel my heart, it's beat tight. Oh, my body's breathing. It's just you and me. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. Let's free fall. Let's free Feel my heart, it's beat tight. Oh, my body's breathing. It's just you and me. Feel my heart, it's beat tight. Oh, my body's breathing. It's just you and me. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. 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 I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall.
Or inside here, you get an insight and you know something, but you don't want to say it out loud because you're kind of afraid that it's not going to be really true and it'll spoil the whole thing for you, But when somebody makes you say it, then, and it's true, then it just makes it more beautiful of a thing.
I'm not crazy, Malin. I'm not crazy, Malin. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. 40 years.
Carpe diem. Carpe diem.
I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's
welcome back. It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off. It's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through from Peyton. It's just going to solidify everything for Mythos.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
SKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Laura, is he going to be able to find these shots true?
Idu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes the Nablet immediately to the back. Fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2, 3. So back and forth.
And we're back. It is a Saturday night to cover some more CGL Season 16 action. We're going to be going over to the NA Open Division as well. We have myself, Ma'anavawit, joined by the wonderful and lovely Nia, and I am very happy to see both of us once again come back for another season of CGL as always, but also to cover, we were talking about these teams a little bit earlier, and to cover some teams that, you know, it's their first time or they're veterans of the scene, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? Tarnished coming in here. Pretty fresh team, new setting to entrance this new, fresh new season here, this week 1, season 16 in the NA Open tier in CGL against Shoebill Nation, which they've been playing for 8 months here now, month, and it's going to be pretty exciting to see what Tarnished could do, being that new entry to face up against here against Shoebill Nation.
Yes, and of course, we're going to do a North American Open for CGL. You know it's arguably the highest of the highest tiers. This is where everyone can play. This is where the highest levels do tend to find themselves without any sort of rank cap or rank requirements under their belt. So with that being said, we're going to Ilios first. A very popular start for a lot of teams, and one that I think we can all agree with. We all know how to play Ilios. We love the way that Ilios gives a lot of different compositions to each of the sub-maps. So as we go into maybe the ban phase, what could we possibly be seeing here that's a favorite for Ilios?
Well, looking at Ilios, meta compositions wise, usually leaning towards dive or brawl here up in Ilios. So if you were both of these two teams, you would kind of want to try and ban out either a dive or a brawly hero coming towards this map. I know a lot of players love this map just because of the playstyle. It's really quick paced, and it's a great opener here for the season here in CGL. But let's take a look at the banning scene for Tarnished. They got a bunch of heroes to select from, plus we have Wu Yang stepping up into the season here in CGL. Fresh new hero, fresh new input. Who's going to be the player to play Wu Yang?
Well, it'll be your backline, of course, right? By default, your backline will be playing that brand new character. But as I love that you mentioned Wu Yang because he is so new, but already in the pro scene in OWCS today with their start of the third run. You know, we saw a lot of Wu Yang, especially paired with Kiriko, with Lucio, so Wu Yang ban isn't out of the realm of possibility. However, we're going to be shifting our focus to a DPS ban, that being the Pharah, which I would think is for good reason. She's relatively strong, I would say at least 2 of the 3 sub-maps, very similar to how a lot of other characters are, so at the very least, you don't have to worry about that aerial space, you don't have to worry about being barraged from the sky above, and now with Shoebill Nation kind of forced between a tank or a support ban, what could you possibly see, maybe even from the tank side of things?
Looking at tanks, probably something towards maybe banning a diva here if they want to go a little slower. Or maybe they could push something towards banning a Orisa Ramatra. It's going to be really interesting here to see what Shoebill Nation picks, because we just got to see a Pharah ban, right? So they take that aerial positioning out. But as we do get to see here up on our screen, it's going to be a hazard ban. So looking at Hazard playing in the scene here of this open division here in CGL, Hazard is a pretty quick-paced hero style, right? You go quick in, you jump, slash. It's really quick-paced set for that Hazard. So no Hazard compositions here for this first one, but I still do think we're going to get to see a lot of dive played here in this opening map.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that D.Va could have been a possibility because she has arguably really shown out. She's really started taking us the spotlight a bit in that tank dive role. And with Hazard going down, this does make me think initially, yeah, we're probably going to see a lot more D.Va, even Winston as well from these teams here with Hazard going down as a possible pick. With that being said, let's look over at our rosters for Tarnished. I'm excited to introduce this lineup of 5 beautiful players. We have Haunt, we have Yuri, we have Amnesia, Spec, and Pika Pepper. You can see Spec already hovering over the Wu Yang as a favorite hero, despite only being released for about 2 weeks and some change from his trial weekend. So I'm excited to see that backline really come to fruition from Tarnished, and it has been super popular as of late, but anything can happen, especially as you go up against someone like Shoebill Nation.
Yeah, exactly right. And as we get to see here, Shoebill Nation's roster, they've been playing for a long time here in CGL. 8 months, of course. Shadowy, Jolie Beam up on the DPS line. Expect a lot of high performance depth in that lineup from them too. But you have up on the tank role, Simple Math. We know what Simple could do, playing the high aggressive dive compositions, the brawl compositions, all that great stuff Simple can do. But our lovely supports here from Shoebill Nation, High Wind and CC. Those two are going to be 2 to step up here for Shoebill Nation, taking on a team that has been here before as former players on a different team, as you said. So it's going to be something that all players here in this new scene, in the open division, here in the new season of CGL, all of them are going to have to lock up in here in Ilios.
Yeah, and if we're going to be going over to Ilios now, I can already see a little sneak peek at which sub-map we're going to be running up on, and it's going to be the beautiful sub-map of Ruins, which, as you mentioned, this is kind of where that Brawl Rush does come into more of a stylistic choice here for a lot of compositions. You'll see your Junker Queens, your Ramatras, well, he's dead. You'll see your arguably Hazards, who's also dead, unfortunately. You'll see your Rissas, your Zarias, which you can already see Amnesia hovering over. So if we're sticking with the Zarya Genji composition, this is something very classic. This is something where you can let your Genji dash in, get free 20-30% charge off your first bubble on the Genji, and then Amnesia is going to get so much value off of that. But into a Winston, you know this as well as I do, I'm worried about that matchup for Amnesia.
Yeah, of course. I think both of the two teams here are going to try and do a tad of a high mobility charge. You're going to be working with a lot of energy pulse from the side here of Shoebill Nation because you're going to have that Winston, right? You're going to be able to dive the backline. But let's see what Amnesia could do here against the Winston.
I mean, first of all, this Winston's really in there and just giving so much free charge to Amnesia, who you can already see that first bubble gets utilized so quickly. And then you have pretty much Amnesia almost at full charge. So he can be expended here, but Yuri always in that back line finds 1, if not 2, the back and the front. The Ana and the Winston going down together as they have always done before, and it's just going to be a nice cleanup of CC right after the fact by Haunt.
Yeah, and this is a little scary here to entrance this first sub-map, as you said, Ruins against Shoebill Nation. You're running this really well here if you're Tarnished into the Shoebill. But now you're looking at these ultimate economies, right? Haunt is almost to a pulse bomb, and Tracers can charge that pulse extremely quick. So I really want to see how the Tracers place these pulse bombs whenever it comes to the Ruins map here. But let's see what happens. Maybe a dive here from the Winston player.
No, gonna be the reversal of it actually. Yuri finding that beautiful dash elimination onto Julie Beam, and now just kind of helping Haunt push in by effectively making all this space really just work out favorably for the side of Shoebill Nation. Now, we do see Tarnished losing out on Spec of the Lucio player, but with that being said, it's not too bad, but what we do have to do is back up away from the spawn room, and we're gonna be instead making this little courtyard area our kill box for our next potential setup of this dive.
Yes, of course. 45% here running for Tarnished. The Pulse Bomb is basically set and ready to go here if you are Haunt. They're just trying to look down here, possibly up onto the supports here.
Pulse Bomb is online, as you had mentioned, a very fast building ultimate, but CC will not be the recipient here of that Pulse Bomb. Actually forces the recall early from Haunt, but CC is still so low, actually falls into the loving grasp of that Zarya from Amnesia. And mind you, it's just a pulse bomb that was really used here. We're already at 70% to the objective it captured in favor of Tarnished. Dragon Blade online, Sound Barrier online, the Kiri Rush is online. What can Shoebill Nation look to do to break open this defense?
Shoebill Nation definitely wants to re-engage here with a Pulse Bomb landing up on the enemy team, which would be Tarnished. But as well, I mean, Julie's coming up on that wonderful blade that could be used. But look at the support line just getting devastated by Yuri.
Oh, there goes Highwind, the first victim of this aforementioned Dragon Blade. Now we do see the Tidal Blast gets committed onto a selfish one by CC, actually. Gonna be using it on themselves, and then suddenly there they go down for the count against Yuri again, who is just unwiltering in going down against that Tidal Blast. Now here comes the Pulse Bomb, does kind of tickle Amnesia a little too hard here. We do see a trade of the tanks so far. There goes Shadowy, not going to be able to commit to the touch. And just like that, as the overtime counter ticks right on down, the first point of Ilios will be going to the side of Tarnished.
I was about to say, if Ilios looked like Oasis,
I'm
blind,
place,
but
I need new glasses.
Yeah. Hey, at least we're both wearing glasses, right? So we're able to view everything. But yeah, Shoebill Nation, it was a rough start from them, but maybe they can start up with something different, as we do get to see up in the background there, a little faded, but we do get to see a ball getting selected. Ooh. So a little more of a high mobility aggression possibly from the Shoebill Nation to just get a really quick start out of the spawn. But Amnesia still playing the Zarya and Spec up on the Lucio with CC up on Shoebill. So definitely quick compositions here, I'd probably say.
Oh, absolutely. And I love that we do see ball get committed here. I feel like we've been seeing ball a lot more in the absence of a hazard, or maybe if Winston isn't working. You'll see ball get played a little bit more. I do like it because the disruption is crazy. However, my Kiriko is no longer in the map and no longer in the game right now. It has actually, I think, just kind of fallen off or been booped off by an unknown force from Tarnished. So with that being said, this is going to be giving a big opportunity for Tarnished to actually take over the Lighthouse area and forcing everyone to back up from Shoebill Nation. And you can see Julie already so low, actually gets called out by Haunt, following up on that dive, started off arguably by Pika Pepper. And now you can see this ball also looking towards Yuri, but needs to back out as well.
Yeah, and I really love how the support line is spacing here from Tarnished. They're playing real safe. Shoebill Nation, though, kind of need to step up here. Percentage is running here up into Tarnished, but there's still a long ways to go here up on Lighthouse. I really want to see how they aggress this next push. Maybe they could go in with the ball here just to go quick, but the melee up on the CC, that's very unfortunate.
We trade off Yuri for it. And Haunt. Oh, Highwind popping off. Said, I didn't mean to jump off the map like that real quick. Let me just make it back up, get my value in once again. Gets a little 2K for themselves. And now here's a flip in favor of Shoebill Nation. Now Amnesia runs up on the back line, finds Highwind, likely without anyone to really teleport to, because you can see how separated we are kind of forced to play as Shoebill Nation with this ball composition. So with that being said, Spec gets not 1 and 2 eliminations and calls for a pause.
So very interesting. So Spec does get the 2 eliminations there. But looking back at that, right, Shoebill Nation, they don't have Ultimate Economy yet, but Shadowy is coming back with that Pulse Bomb, which can play a massive effect for Shoebill Nation to definitely re-engage in this one if they want to come back real quick. Now, if you are Tarnished here up in this next setting after this pause, you're going to have Haunts with the Pulse Bomb, which that's going to be something definitely spectacular to watch, because 2 of the Tracers are going to be doling to get that first Pulse Bomb out. But you also have Pika Pepper, which could be popping that Kitsune Rush. So you got 2 ultimates that could be popped from Tarnished, but Shoebill Nation only 1 at the moment. So going back up into this one, Mont, it's more likely that Tarnished, it will be getting this recap. And as we do get to see Jolie Beam does reset here for Shoebill Nation.
Absolutely. And you might as well, right? Highwind was the one that had to get that, needed to pause. Quick little reset though, and we're good to go. As you said, we have a couple opens online here for Tarnished, and we're going to start things off very early on the bridge of all things. Force the recall very early from Shadowy, who now has to go for a completely new rotation around the cage, adjacent, or not even adjacent, but perpendicular to the Lighthouse here. Now, with that being said, Pika Pepper is set up very nicely on this Lighthouse and kind of backs up, gets a little bit of that peppering that damage, literally, into the back line, and we commit the Pulse Bomb onto the Lucio, but the Suzu was immaculate. Shadowy gets pulled off the map, and just like that, the fight is somewhat just rolling away from Shoebill Nation as the rest of Tarnished just clean things up effortlessly.
Yeah, and I really love the pressure that Tarnished is putting against Shoebill Nation. They're looking to be, if you are Shoebill Nation, in a very, very tough spot as we're getting to see that percentage marking. A look at the ball kind of rotating away. You're going to give a touch here, and mines are definitely up in reach.
Well, grab is grab for a reason, and they were not going to get the touch, even if Amnesia had to dive for it. But thankfully, we do see a ball coming in from the back, has the minefields on the objective, actually gets a cheeky little flip here as well for the side of Shoebill Nation. And with that being said, I think Blakesu can actually back away very quickly here and arguably lose down the point for 99%, but we do recap overtime or re-register overtime marker. But with no one else to really go for a touch, well, not high win, but at the very least, Shadowy is there to try to stall as long as possible. But with everyone's health pools being so low, recall force out from Shadowy. In the meantime, it's only a matter of time until eventually there's no more blinks, there's no more recalls, there's no more touchers. It's going to be a 2-0 win for Tarnished on Ilios, giving them a first point on the board in this first of 3 series.
Yeah, and this was a wonderful performance here from Tarnished, getting their opening match here, first map, which is that Ilios map. They played it really well here against Shoebill Nation, which both teams, as we did say, going up into this first one, have experience with each other. And looking at this one, going further, I do feel like the team synergy from before is going to be playing a big toll and effect for the rest of the series here. So I'm really wondering what's going to be happening in between those maps, maybe a little bit of composition switch-ups here from 2 of the teams, but we never know. Tarnished up here 1-0 against Shoebill Nation, but we still got a couple more maps around the corner, right?
Oh, we sure do, and it's a new rule set here, new season, new just kind of ways to pick these maps. And of course, it's going to be loser side picks, right? Losers will pick not just the map type, but also the map mode. It's the same thing. Map and mode is what I was trying to say. And that's big because it's a very large map pool that we do have for Season 16. I believe there's at least 3 maps per mode, and you can go to anything. You're not forced into this hybrid map 2, into Flashpoint map 3, push map 4. You're not limited in that way. You can really just go wherever you want to go, given the map pool given to us. And on top of that, they will get first hero bans, but they can also choose to ban second. So that's also the subtle option they also have in that ban phase. Is you could ban first, but you can also give that ban back to your opponent and opt to ban second. But really, whenever people want to go for these next maps, especially when they feel like, okay, maybe this team is more of a brawl comp, especially with this Zarya that's been very much running rampant against Shoebill Nation, I would argue go to a more dive-centric map where you want to play this Winston, where you want to play this unbanned Hazard, if that's in your toolkit.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you here. If they want to go quick with the dive compositions, it would be great here for Shoebill Nation to step up and get that neutral scoreline of 1-1 in that map too. But we can basically just wait and see, right? But just one thing that I want to talk about, right? I know that we got to talk about this before we even got up in, but Tarnished logo, right? With the cat just staring down. I mean, I have a little thinking cap inside my head right now. If they have a cat staring you down while you're watching this as your logo, maybe they're staring down the victory of this series. I mean, coming in here as a new org, having familiar players, it's something to hint about Tarnished. But as we do get to see up on our screens here, we have a next map coming up, and it's gonna be Runasapi. So, to talk about Runasapi, there is a lot of compositions that could be played here, and as we did say, dive composition can definitely be used here. Hazard can be played. Winston can be played. We could also get to see some Diva played up on Runasapi, especially for those Diva bombs. But yeah, Runasapi, this is going to be a very exciting one to kick off this map 2 in this series.
This is also a favorite that a lot of teams will opt to go towards. If anything, what I do notice is that teams try to eliminate the push and flashpoints of the world before eventually going to a payload map, which I think is honestly really smart. I love Runasapi. I love the pick here. Now, speaking of picks, this is where things do come to a head. What are your bans, you know? Shoebill Nation will have the benefit of going for that first ban, as they did lose, and they're going to opt to get that first ban under their belts. And, you know, when we eventually lock in what we're going to be running here, you know, we had a Hazard ban earlier. We had the Wuyong ban earlier, right? Or no, was it Wuyong? No, it was Farah. Excuse me. Whoa. It was a Farah ban. I was, you see where my head lies? Like, I just... on Wuyang ban.
Yeah. Maybe it's the glasses. It
might be the glasses. It's these brand new glasses. I can't. I need my old glasses back. My whole funk is thrown off with these new glasses.
Hey, it's all right. We have wonderful ban scenes here from both of these two teams. They played the first map extremely well from both sides. Shoebill Nation definitely tried in that first map set. Even though Tarnished did look really extremely good, we know what Shoebill Nation can do against multiple teams here up in CGL Open Division. So if you're Tarnished coming up into this one, you have that first map set win. You're looking to accomplish another map win in this series. But how's that going to work, right? You have bans. So tank bans for Shoebill Nation. I'm probably going to say they're going to target dive, because we got to see a little action with the high mobility aggression from both the sides. So taking that out of the map, that could change a lot of factors here in Runasapi.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you could definitely kind of ban out essential elements to the dive, but I will also say it's Runasapi. You know, a lot of things can work here. Orisa works here. Zarya, which we saw earlier from Tarnished, could still work here very favorably with the Genji. You can see I mean, if you want to go Ramatra, you got it for life. But I'm thinking maybe like a DPS or support ban might be a little more impactful. I would maybe even target the Genji. I think Yuri on Genji was extremely powerful in that regard. And I think, you know, just kind of got away with a lot that arguably shouldn't have been available to Tarnished when we were running on Winston on Ruin. So as we go down, I'm a little too good at it. Hold on. Whoa, I'm a little too good at it.
Whoa,
we got the Genji ban that is coming in. I'm going to say it's a targeted ban, and I can't lie, it's for good reason. You popped off a little too hard.
Yeah, I mean, Yuri up on the side of Tarnished. We got to see it up on Ilios. They were following up a lot up in the kill feed. But as well, you know, even a couple players from Tarnished getting up in that kill feed too with Yuri. So wonderful performance there. But now we have Tarnished getting this ban in here for this secondary map of this series. You're looking either at a support or a tank. And if you really want to pressure out to the higher mobility, I agree with this. I was just about to say support. But yeah, taking out a Kiriko, this is very smart. Yeah, I agree. This is great. I'm lost for words.
I love the Kiriko ban because this is basically the backline has really shifted back over to the Kiri Lucio. Before we had a little more variation. It would become like Juno Brig to like Juno Kiri to Kiri Lucio Bap. We had a lot of variation, I will say, but with the Kiriko ban coming in, especially when it's been a very heavy Kiriko Lucio backline preference for a lot of teams, I get it. Now we are getting a quick little substitution here. We're gonna actually see from Shoebill Nation, we're gonna see Pa Sane make an appearance. I'm very excited to see her come into play, and she has the Widowmaker as her favorite character. So on Runasapi, could you play Widowmaker? Could you play a little sneaky little flank Widowmaker? Yeah, you can do it on first point. I've done it before. It's hilarious, and you know it worked for like a match or two, and then you kind of have to swap off at some point. And I might see her go on Sojourn, and that will also be a really good character to really bring back into the scene here as we are starting to load into Runasapi. Otherwise, with Kiriko ban, what kind of backline do you might think we might see? Maybe besides Wuyong making an appearance, what else could we possibly see?
Well, if we don't have the Kiri, I would probably say you want something to be stable, right? You don't want it to be kind of offset where you're running two different heroes on, let's say you run two main supports. That's not something that you want to run. You want to have a main support and a flex support, right? So maybe we could still definitely see the Lucio here up in this if they want to go quick, right? Or we could go a little slower. I think Brig could be played here still. The Ana could be played here for antis. There's a lot to be played from both of these two sides, and I think they have their thinking caps on for this. As we're about to see, I'm not going to say that these are going to be the certain backlines of the two teams. As we're seeing, though, Tarnished, Spec with the Mercy, and we get to see the new hero ran by Pika. So, do we get to see these heroes run out of spawn?
I'm telling you right now, I think that Soldier Mercy is real.
It's
I know
happening.
exactly what they're
gosh.
going to do. I know exactly what they're going to do here. They're going to go all the way to the back area. They're not going to go coast where everyone else is going. See? They're going to go all the way around down this area, and they're going to just put in... I know it. I've been a victim. I was a victim! I was a victim before! This is PTSD happening. Look, I see it! Oh my god, I see it.
Alright, so Tarnished getting this rotation in, but taking a look at the stat line. I mean, Pika and Amnesia falling short.
Yeah, a little bit here, but with Han bringing it back against Paul Sane, who is on Freya instead, which I argue we didn't even talk about how strong Freya still is as a character. It kind of evens out at least a little bit, but unfortunately with just the Mercy going down lastly in the favor of Shoebill Nation, and they're running this Mauga, which we didn't even talk about either. But yeah. Mauga low-key is back.
Yeah, Mauga is definitely back, especially here up in CGL, right? Oh, Pausane though up onto Hans. That's a little crazy, but both teams running Mauga. Definitely a lot of quick pace.
I mean, you're right. It's all about these stomps. It's all about these cage rights. It's all about that cardiac overdrive as well, giving it that life steal and health back for that Mauga to keep it over-sustained in these fights. Pika Pepper is going over to Ana here, and there are going to be a little bit of, being looked at by Shadowy, but there is a Cassidy who is going to be... Whoa! It was going to be the real reign of the parade here against Shadowy, as you force a recall and then just kind of hinder nade them into oblivion. He's down for the count. There goes Blixway as well. I mean, if you're the side of Shoebill Nation, you need to back out. You need to regroup immediately.
Yeah, you're losing the Mauga here. You don't have your main tank, and Hai getting eliminated here from Yuri. Now you're down to support. Still, you gotta get back in this smart position of regrouping here if you are Shoebill, but Tarnished looking good here now, running with meterage.
They sure are. 48 meters to 20 meters, so very, very close, just under halfway in favor of Tarnished, as they are starting to push the barricade back over to that golden box of not victory, but just kind of overtaking. 99% to the Bola shot, who was surprised. Very, very fast building ultimate here for Paul Sane to abuse. And I mean, she's going to be right in there against that slam in from the side of Amnesia. But Spec finds Shadowy in the fray. Amnesia is going so low, gets completely peppered down by CC. But in the meantime, while CC is reveling in her victory against the opposing Mauga, the rest of her team is starting to really falter herself as well. And no ultimates even being expended. Not the Bola shot, not the window, and Haunt just now putting up that Deadeye.
Yeah, Deadeye here for Haunt. Ready to go here for the side of Tarnished. But Blishway, you're up on Shoebill Nation. You're going to have Cage Fight ready to go, and you're also going to have Pausane's ultimate. 2 to add. High wins too. CC as well. Or, you know what, just the whole entire team. Shoebill Nation trying to look good here.
Big post onto Shadowy. A very rare post to get actually on Tracer. Usually really just comes out if you can force out the recall early on. And these are now looking towards Lucio, who's forced a wall ride right along that area of death, where he can easily fall down, but CC makes it back to her team easily. 5 check marks online here for Shoebill Nation. This can be a very messy, visually busy fight coming up with the cage fight with the Bola shot. The window will be the first one to go down, but the big anti-nade from Pika Pepper is not unnoticed. Actually helps assist in finding just high wind, but the rest of the team does stay alive. Then it gets canceled out by Tarnished, by Shoebill Nation, and not only that, but they held on to 3 of their ultimates, only using both of the support ultimates.
Yeah, so unlucky there from Tarnished with Haunt's Deadeye. Just trying to get out. Doesn't really land up on anyone. Shoebill Nation really able to capitalize up on that. 3 ultimates up on both sides here. This is ready to go. Locked and loaded. Which team's going to go first? Oh, here we go.
Oh, there is a cage fight that's keeping everyone in there. The anti-nade did go crazy from Pika Pepper as well. And, of course, subsequently, the Nano was used on top of Amnesia while he was in that cage fight. Spec did use the excuse me, did use the sound barrier, which I think was a little bit overkill, but if you're even with CC, I think it's a fine trade to make. And Yuri at least still has his pulse bomb. Pausane having her own, but in a more aerial format with the bullet shots.
Yeah, Pausane, this is going to be very exciting to see what they could do with a bullet shot, right? We got to see a lot of positioning from Pausane already with the Freya, but it's going to be really interesting. Can they play the corner extremely smart? Shoebill Nation, they got to run with a little bit of meterage, right? They're down a bit.
I mean, they're down Yuri, which arguably you really don't want to see. And also, these anti-nades from Pika Pepper have been so strong, especially with the lack of a Kiriko. I mean, if you're Blake Sway, you are just a victim every single day of the week. But Pausane rips open the bola shot in this fight, helps get that extra bit of spam damage up against Amnesia, who's running back to safety and does, in fact, find some sort of solace with, his own team. But I'm not sure that's going to last for very long, as Pika Pepper is going to be looked at not only by CC, but also by the rest of her team of Pausane, of Shadowy, who, mind you, has just built up another pulse bomb. Highwind sticking to his Moira, and we're finally going to be able to overtake the meter marker.
Yep, Shoebill Nation now overtaking this one. Maybe they will overcome the Tarnished side to get that neutral score line. But as we do get to see, they are backing up. This is very smart if they want to place this Tracer Pulse.
Oh, that's a big trade. Haunt for CC. I mean, if you're the side of Shoebill Nation, you're kind of upset that you're down a support, which means, Blake's Way definitely felt the worst end of not having support there to assist in that charge and that stomp. And just like that, with just a differentiation of 10 meters, we retake the bots. Ooh, can we? No, forced recall very early. Great for Pausane.
And both of the Lucios have been popping off here. Just to mention, I mean, Spec has been up in the kill feed there and then. CC doing work as the Lucio player from Shoebill Nation. A lot of aggression, though, from both the sides. Ultimate Economy, though, online.
You hear the nano go off. We use the sound barrier. I like the response, but we're going for a little bit of... I'm gonna call it a flank guy, maybe, as we do see Pulsar get committed onto Blake's Way. And there goes the rest of the Dead Eye. There goes Shadowy as well, hindered. Kind of caught between a rock and a piercing hard place, that being the Cassidy new perk, which I must say, kind of a menace. Here comes Pausane, also being a menace in her own right, but with the recall and then Yuri able to refocus back on that Freya, she's going to go down for the count, and there goes Amnesia also sticking on the objective, taking care of the Moira, which, mind you, Highwind just now getting that Coalescence, but we stalled long enough to allow Blake Shui to come back and regain this bot.
Yeah, Blaishway able to almost have this cage charged up 99%. 3 ultimates up online here for Shoebill Nation, but the anti up on the Blaishway. Amnesia, though, can be looking for an early cage here to get a little more meterage. Oh, Shadowy.
That's a stick if I've ever seen one, and a classic one onto Spec, who had Sound Barrier. So without Sound Barrier, without Pika Pepper, unfortunately, you're kind of just stuck between a rock and a hard place if you are the side of Tarnished. Shoebill Nation now retaking the bot once again, and they're going to gain at least a couple of meters while the rest of the team of Tarnished are respawning.
Yeah, so 2 ultimates ready to go up on both of the sides. Yuri, though, able to charge up this false bomb really here shortly. Cage fight, though, popped.
Yeah, actually both of them. So a big Venn diagram on my screen right now. No Yuri, no CC, but Spec will be able to proc that Sound Barrier in just the nick of time. Highwind did use a Coalescence at some point in the engagement, likely during that cage fight that allowed Black Shui to stay alive. However, we have Bola Shot. We're going to Haunt, who rolls out and gets stomped on by Blake Shui. There it is, but there they go. Black Shui out, down for the count. A stick of the Pulse Bomb will be finishing off Pausane. And at this point, the fight is just going to be a matter of wasting this last minute and a half.
Yeah, Blaishway was doing a lot of work there. Amnesia is a little low, but they are trading back and forth. CC, though, that's very interesting. But the boop off the map, oh!
That boop looked very far, too. I think Spec might be running the boop perk that my Lucio... Even she's like, my Lucio? It's me? I'm the problem? I think Spec is running the perk that gives you the extra boost of the boop that gives you like 12% extra. So, because CC looked like she went kind of far, I can't lie. Fight goes on, however, on the actual bridge here, or the ramp, but there goes Amnesia going down for the count. But the nano onto Haunt, are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh, wait. Oh, the Deadeye was popped and doesn't land.
It doesn't. Paul saying again, just a little bit too insane on the character, I have to say. And big reset here, only 30 seconds left.
Yep, 30 seconds left. Shoebill Nation in the lead here in the last 20. But Tarnished, they could possibly come back here. Yuri almost building up that pulse bomb, and that's almost ready to go. But Shoebill Nation, I love the work. I love how they've been aggressing, but can they hold this to neutralize the score?
Not even just holding it, but can Tarnish even bring it back at least 4 fights to overtake the 86 meters? I mean, you can already see this Ana is being looked at by all angles. Only just now Yuri is able to kind of keep this other opponent of Shadowy in check here. But in the meantime, all the pressure is just being loaded onto Amnesia. Fleischway takes the full brunt of a pulse bomb and just laughs it off like it was a mosquito bite. And just like that, by just pushing everyone off the objective, Shoebill Nation have now taken up a win under their belt and now evening the scoreboard up to 1-1.
Yeah, wonderful work here from Fleischway, using the Malga to be extremely aggressive. Hossein even stepping up in as the substitution here, coming in up on Runasapi. They did a fantastic job landing those critical shots in those critical moments, and even shutting down that Deadeye, as we just got to see up in that highlight reel there. And now, I mean, we got a series up on our hand against Tarnished and Shoebill Nation. There's a lot to still say about these two teams, but I am so excited to see what happens here next.
Absolutely. It has been a fantastic showing at Runasapi. I mean, Runasapi is one of those maps where I always say the first couple minutes don't matter, it's the last couple minutes that really do matter. And you can see Shoebill took that to the furthest extent and continued on to win out the map. They were the ones in the deficit, remember, and then they brought it right back. But speaking of bringing these back, we're going to go to a very quick break, and we'll be right back with some of that Map 3 action that we're all anticipating and waiting for. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you on the other end of this 5-minute break. And we're back. Little quick 5-minute break, a little water break, a little bathroom break. Definitely some time given to these teams to decide the next map and some of our next bans here. It's 1-1 between Tarnished and Shoebill Nation, and I could not have it any other way in this first to 3 series. Are you excited for his next map? Because I certainly am.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Tarnished and Shoebill Nation have been just an action-packed event for this North American Open tier of this week 1 here in Season 16. And as I'm seeing up on my screen, and as you're seeing, we're going to be heading towards that next map. And I just gotta say, it's going to be Saravasa. And once again, if you look at Runasapi, there's still a lot of team compositions that can be played in between Runasapi and Saravasa. So it could be dive, brawl, rush, maybe a little bit of poke, but I don't know if I've seen a professional team do that. But yeah, you know what? Let's just scrap poke. But yeah, Saravasa, I'm expecting this to be very brawly, rush-like, or even a dive-like composition coming in between these two. But let's talk about those bans. Tarnish. They have banned Pharah and Kiriko so far, and you're looking at the opposing side. They've banned Hazard and Genji so far. So Shoebill Nation and Tarnished have been working extremely well with these bans, but if you are critical, and if you are Tarnished here, you want to be picking something that's going to be extremely powerful towards the side of Shoebill Nation. If you want this series running in your hands, what is it going to be? It's going to be Mauga.
Yo. The Mauga off rip from one map is hilarious to me. You did too much is what I'm hearing, and Tarnished are looking to
literally
make sure that they can get a little more of an even tank matchup here. I feel like when you're forced to mirror the Mauga, it's either you know how to play him, or you know how to play him, but you know how to play him better than the other person, right? So with that being said, Shoebill Nation are now counting down to their ban selection and limiting it to the damage and support line. Now, as a reminder, they did ban out Genji, so this does give Yuri's ability to play Genji open again for Saravasa, which I think is going to work very well for them. With Shoebill Nation, do I want to go for something like a Lucio? Oh, I certainly am. No one's going to get speed boost. No one's getting Sambayer. No one's having fun with their 12% boop increase. Stop playing with me. Let's get into it. Mauga and Lucio ban for Saravasa.
I'm loving this. Mauga and Lucio, two powerful heroes here in many types of compositions that can be played here in Overwatch 2, but as well CGL. So, two teams picking two massive factors here heading up into this next map. The leading scoreline is 1-1. Anything could change. Anyone could go up another +1, but let's take a look if there's any substitutions that are going to be getting played into this next map, right? So, we're looking at it, and it's going to be the same. So, actually, very smart choices here. Keeping Pausane in, I have to agree. Pausane was very critical towards the last map, and if you are Shoebill Nation, this is a great and excellent choice here from your organization.
Yeah, I mean, Pausane on that Freya, which, again, I would not be surprised, I would say, if she were to run with the Freya once more, especially on Saravasa. I wouldn't be surprised to see Freya, a Sojourn, anything like that that can really complement what Saravasa brings to the table here, especially as we are now slowly loading in to that map. And here we are, starting things off, as always, on, what's it called, Marketplace. Lucio and Mauga are both enabled. My Chungus lobby host.
We were just getting up in there.
No, it happens. I've done the same thing when I'm hosting lobbies for matches, and they're like, "Hey, you didn't ban Kiriko," and I'm like, "Well, just don't pick her." Where's the honor? Where's the honor of it all?
Yeah, right. That's wild. But as we are just waiting here, is there anything to talk about these two teams? I know that they go back a little bit, right? They've played together. Is there anything that you want to point out to the fans here watching CGL that you might know?
I mean, Shoebill Nation has competed in other avenues. I believe both Pausane and CC might have competed in Calling All Heroes. I think Pausane has. That's where I know her from. Yeah. That's where I recognize her name from, is Calling All Heroes. But otherwise, the entire team of Demon Kittens, which a majority of Tarnished used to be on, I recognize Demon Kittens as a team previously. Now, that's how I know, for example, I believe Haunt was on Demon Kittens really quickly. Actually, no, they weren't. I remember what Haunt was on earlier, but that's where Pika Pepper's from. That's where Spec is from. Kylo in that Spectator is also from Demon Kittens. Like, these guys, I have known of their previous teams and or of their previous tournaments, placements, what have you. So it's really, first of all, I think it's really cool to see these guys move between tournaments, between brackets, whether or not they're winning, losing with this team, with that team. I think it's just really cool to follow certain players and like recognize them. Like, oh my god, I remember Paul Sane from XYZ. Yeah, exactly. And I remember Haunt from XYZ. It's I think it's really cool. That's why I'm actually really excited, because I don't know, it's cool, and also they're even, like they're 1-1. So I think just the talent speaks for itself. They're both these teams are really, really strong.
All right. So as we're getting into this one, Tarnished and Shoebill Nation, looking at the lineups, Amnesia and Leishui popping the Zarya here. So two of the contenders are probably going to be that Zarya duel that's going to be happening.
Yeah, one backline is going with the Baptiste and the Brigida. I also want to mention, we also have the other backline being the Kiri and the Wu Yang. But one side will be lacking a flex support. That will be the Kiriko. That will be High Wind going down first. And Tarnished, once again, just really replicating their winnings of that first map that we saw all the way back on Ilios, and how well-rounded, how well-practiced they are on the Zarya Genji composition.
Yeah, Yuri got a little nasty there in the kill feed, able to pick up a lot of picks against Shoebill Nation. But taking a look at Shoebill Nation coming back, they have Shadowy playing this Tracer. We know what Shadowy can do up on that Tracer, of course, from the last couple of maps that we've gotten to see through the series. But if you're Tarnished here, this is wonderful placement for the backline. You have the Brig, you have the BAP, and you're also able to work with Immortality, which that's a massive, great thing. But as I say it, I mean, Pika Pepper is down.
Yeah, but so is Paw saying. At the very least, it's more favorable to trade a DPS for support, especially when you're able to shut down Shadowy, who is putting on this pressure onto Spec. And look at this. There goes Haunt taking down High Wind. Yuri takes down Blyshway. And we lose out on Amnesia, but it's just Pausing, who, mind you, is coming back from the spawn room. So arguably isn't even really there yet. Not, at least not in time to help out CC with being, just harassed by Haunt. And Yuri, of course, always coming from the high ground, always coming from the shadows to find those eliminations. So with 95% pretty much given to Tarnished, they're going to get this first point really effectively for themselves on Saravasa.
Yep, Tarnished are also ready to go here with their Ultimate Economy line. 4 are going to be stacked and loaded for Tarnished. But if you're looking at Shoebill Nation, Shadowy getting a little low there. That's a little skeptical. Haunt's able to get the melee.
Yeah, but Haunt's being scouted out, needs to retreat to the Mega Pack here, but thankfully will be able to find that for himself, and has Pulsum online. Shadowy just now respawning. Tarnished will be having this advantage of solidifying their positioning on the objective first of Temple before Shoebill Nation can even walk out with all 5 of the members out of the spawn room. Now, mind you, we are coming up on that title blast from CC. Spec will be coming up on the rally to mirror that support ultimate from Shoebill Nation, but we're going to be starting off things strong with a bubbled Dragon Blade. We do use the title blast selfishly, and we're going to be shutting down Yuri. Ooh, what a good response from CC as she goes down, but still a very telling response.
Yeah, this is great here from the side of Shoebill Nation, able to capitalize on all of these little mistakes that Tarnished are performing here against Shoebill Nation in that entry of that secondary here on this. So, if you are Shoebill Nation, you have Kitsune Rush ready to go, you have the Zarya ultimate also ready to go, and you have Pausane's Reaper Blossom to Beyblade possibly up in this next fight. So if you are Shoebill Nation, if you want to run a little more, you could pop here.
Oh, here comes the grab. Oh, the deflect actually helping eliminate Pausane in the middle of her Death Blossom. Despite losing on the Reaper, though, we are seeing a lot more of this kill feed in favor of the red team here of Shoebill Nation, of course. And just like that, even though we lose on Pausane in the middle of that Death Blossom, we're still gonna be seeing Shoebill Nation really take it back on tempo here. I mean, the tempo for themselves their tempo is really, really solid right now. I don't want them to let up on it whatsoever.
The tempo is very cooking for Shoebill Nation so far. They are looking to capture this point here in Saravasa, and as we get to that 99%, they do. It's 1-1 here now, and Pulse Bomb is still ready to go for both of the sides. To expect one to go, Shadowy is able to get Yuri.
Well, that's big too. Getting rid of getting rid of Yuri early on like that. You know, that negates any more of that ult charge towards that Dragon Blade, which of course he is at 80% to pretty much. With that being said, Shadowy, like you said, is holding on to his pulse on, but CC is going to be booting up this Tidal Blast again. And while we're in this kind of interim period of the fight, they're all gone and back in their spawn room just at the 5-second marker before the point even unlocks here.
Shoebill Nation, they are looking great here as they get this capture on the third of Saravasa. Shadowy still coming back, but Haunt's able to get high. This is going to play a massive effect in this next fight.
Yeah, getting High Wind out of here very early like that, I mean, that is really, really good if you're the side of Tarnished. Big Pepper does go over to Juno, a character that you don't really see as often for just not really as strong as anymore as she used to be. But Yuri's going to be making up for that with a beautiful Dragon Blade, but the grab from Blythe Shui is shutting that down, at least momentarily. Haunt and CC trade off each other's life pools, and we're trying to keep Boston alive because this somewhat mini off-tank, quote-unquote, is all you have left against the forces of this backline and of Amnesia. But it's all for naught as Boston has basically no cooldowns left to reliably get out of that fight. So all that's left for Shadowy to do is stall until around, I would say, the 80% marker is your goal here.
Yes, I definitely agree. Oh, Rally is popped. Same with the Zarya. This is a lot of ultimate investment, though, from Tarnished, and this is definitely the need for speed that they need.
Okay, really good rally, I will say, from Specs. Just realizing I need to walk in because Blythe was about to die, or Amnesia was about to die. And the grab from Amnesia was also really good. But now we gotta deal with this Kitsune Rush versus a barely charged up Orbital Ray.
It's going to be a little scary. Kitsune Rush able to get popped here any second now, but as we do get to see that engage coming in.
Yeah, really good focus onto CC there. I mean, I feel like Yuri has been wronged one too many times by CC, so I definitely understand as we are seeing Shoebill Nation start to clean things up, especially with the likes of Paw Saint, really just flinging those shotguns wherever she pleases. A really quick flip here onto the side of Ruins, and Haunt is not even going to have a chance to go for a retouch as Shadowy will be there to scout him out and back up.
I will say, that was a very nice, smart choice there to not recontest that, because you don't want to be down a next player when they make that rotation to that next point. So this is actually a very nice, critical setting for both of the two sides. Shoebill Nation setting up a ultimate economy, and as we get to see Pulse up on the stick, oh, that's crazy.
A good stick onto Yuri as well. That's, again, a really good opener here for Shoebill Nation, especially on Palace. And I love this. This is one of my favorite sub-maps or sub-rounds of Flashpoint is Palace, coupled by Ruins we had just seen. Bits of to the high ground here. Orbital Ray does mark an entryway for Tarnished, but not gonna really see too much from the Dragon, from the Death Blossom from Paw Saint, but the grab does come out from Blythe Shui, but unfortunately, we're not really going to see the benefits of that aforementioned grab, as we are seeing the rest of the team of Shoebill Nation not just go down, but they are going to steal about 30% from the point away from Tarnished.
Yep, Tarnished doing good here. Now they're running with the percentage. Amnesia looked real good there, getting picks, following for Tarnished. And if you are Shoebill Nation here, you're coming back with CC's ultimate. This needs to be played smart here. If you want to win... Oh, wait, that's crazy.
Okay, that was messy. Very messy fight. I mean, the grab was really good from Amnesia. It forced out the Tidal Blast from CC, which unfortunately does not envelop everyone around her. So it did its job for a little bit, but then after the fact, the grab just kind of overlasted a little too long.
Yeah, and that's something that we kind of see from Graviton Surges, where there's a tad bit of ultimate combos, but looking back at that fight, I mean, it was definitely mumble jumbo, right? There was so much, but Yuri able to pop.
Dragon Blade here finds two. Pika Pepper helps assist in elimination against Blythe Shui. Good deflect, 93% given to Tarnished so far. They have done a very effective job at sustaining through these fights, really pushing in early for these early graviton surges, for these early orbital rays, and now they have finally gotten themselves to a 2-2 score line on Saravasa. Now going to the adjacent point of Gardens, you already see Shoebill Nation are starting to set themselves up really nicely here, so what's the plan?
Yeah, if you are Shoebill Nation, you have this Pulse Bomb in hand, ready to go. If you are Shadowy, you want to make a great position factor into Tarnished's backline, possibly, especially if Pika Pepper's getting low, as we do get to see. But even Amnesia, you don't want to be using these shields too much here if you're Tarnished, because you still got to watch out for that Pulse.
Oh, you already got to watch out for Blightway, though. Oh, no. Going down so early to the Zarya. Amnesia now super low themselves, and they're... Oh, wait, hold on. I love that tech. Negate the ult charge. Kill your... Oh, I can't say that. Self-destruction there to negate the ult charge. Same thing with Pika Pepper. Very well done. Good quick reset for Tarnished. Not too shabby, but you're going up against 3 ultimates for Shoebill Nation.
Yeah, Shoebill Nation's going to be coming back up into this one real tough. And they are going to be that high-end competitor here going up in the Tarnished. So if you are Tarnished here, you have Pika Pepper's ultimate coming back, but taking a look at Haunt's HP, getting a little low there. So ultimate's up on the line though. This could be very strategic from both of the sides.
Ooh, big orbit array, big trade of Pulse and Spec here as we open things up on Guardians, but we lose Pika Pepper in the meantime. It feels like no one was able to really play in that orbital array. Blightway's just walking all over everybody. We're already 60, more than halfway through the garden phase of Saravasa. We have a high charge Zarya that we gotta deal with. We have a Grav and a Death Blossom. Yeah, if I'm the side of Tarnished, I do not want to deal with that. Haunt goes for a Pulse Bomb against CC, I think, and I mean Shadow is right there to follow up. But mind you, we're talking about going fast. We're talking about going crazy. We have I heard that Graviton Surge. I heard the Death Blossom. Everyone's dead.
Wow, that is absolutely crazy stuff from Shoebill Nation. And as they mark their statement here in the third map of the series, they are going to be up here one map against the side of Tarnished. Now, looking back at this play of the game, I mean, Jerry did a fantastic job up on the side of Tarnished, but was it enough? No, it wasn't, of course. Shoebill Nation, though, they have been playing phenomenal here up on the Saravasa map, and maybe they can get that 3-1 victory in that next map here in this series. But so much close calls here to still predict in this series here.
Yeah, but we've kind of exhausted our map types without a payload. At some point, we have to bite the bullet, guys. We have to start going to hybrid, and to subsequently... Exactly. If we get to map 5, we have to go to a payload of some sort. So, with that being said, it leaves a couple of maps still in our under our belts. I know that we have maps like Circuit Royale, Dorado, Rialto, a map they don't really see that often. And we have, of course, my favorite escort map, Shambali Monastery. And for hybrid, we have a really, I would say, a really wide range of maps that do pertain to a lot of each team's individual strengths, especially Tarnished, who have the pick here. So we know they're good on that. They're good on that dive. We know they're good on that brawl as well.
Yeah.
Do we want to go to? There's Kings Row, there's Hollywood, Blizzard World. I think all 3 of which are really good. I didn't say Paraiso because we love ourselves on CGL. I'm saying so.
yeah.
If you go Paraiso, I better see Sigma. But they have options.
Yeah, right. Like PokeComp. Yeah, definitely. A lot of options here with the map pool here in CGL. It's going to be very exciting. It's going to be that build of absolutely insane events that are about to happen here up in this next map. But as you said, there's a ton of maps that these two teams could choose from. There's a lot of composition still that they could play up on those 2 maps. So if they want to strategize, they want to play something that's going to favor their hero pool, like how you said. If they want to play something towards, like, Divey, I know that we got to talk about that. Oh, wait! I just saw something, and this is actually crazy. I don't think I've casted this map for a long time, and I'm not sure if you have either, but let's roll the slide. It's going to be Rialto. This is crazy.
Let me tell you about me and Rialto. Me and Rialto got beef. You wanna know why we got beef? It's because I got Rialto like 4 times my placement games, and nobody knows how to play Rialto, unfortunately. Or I get the most chunkiest Reinhardt in my game, and they keep getting hooked by a roadhog on the bridge. That's my
Oh my
game for
gosh,
Rialto.
yes.
That's literally my bar for bar, word for word, what happens. You know what? It's so bad, it just went away. Okay, no, it's back. I'm kidding. Okay, we're having our hero bands coming up on deck here very, very soon. And Rialto kind of gives way to that long-range game plan. You can't... I think it's a little bit weird. You know, you can play a good amount of comps, but a lot of people kind of like go default towards that long range, like Widowmaker, Hanzo, for example, Freya, as a comfort. But tanks, I think it's pretty flexible. You have a really good first corner to hold. You have the bridge to hold. I think that's what gives a lot of teams trouble, is trying to break through that first corner.
Yeah, I definitely agree here with you, and maybe if they want to play a tad bit more of Lucio, I know if you're a Lucio main up in the chat, you're thinking of the bridge. And a Lucio player can hide right behind the cargoes at that starting point. Now, you don't need the perk that early in the game to get a poop, right? So, if you're a Lucio player, and as we did get to see Lucio during this match, Lucio could still definitely get played, because that was a ban that they did pick in this series, which can't get selected if you are Shoebill Nation, but you get to see the Freya pick here from Tarnished, and this is a very good pick, I'd probably say. We got to see a lot of Freya in this series alone.
I like it. I was mentioning the Freya ban could be something to be looked at on Saravasa. I'm glad they kind of held on to it in the back pocket for an escort or a hybrid ban here. A payload map, right? I think Freya does very well on, could do very well on Rialto. Again, haven't casted this match in forever. I am just a victim of competitive rank reset. That's what I'm a victim of, okay? So, with that being said, Freya ban, I like it. Tank or support ban, we already had Lucio, we had the Kiriko earlier. Why not ban Zarya? Ooh. I like it. Oh, these are some real heavy-handed bans here.
Okay, both teams cooking, as we're about to say. Zarya, Freya getting selected here up in the ban picks. And yeah, I mean, I definitely expect that long-range sightline usage from both of the two teams. I see Poke definitely getting used here up on Rialto. If you want aerial coverage, maybe play a Pharah for just that early space, maybe that first point. But I definitely see Ashe getting played, Widowmaker getting played. Those long-range heroes are going to be very crucial and important towards those lines of both of the two teams. And the players, they're going to specialize against it. They want those key moments in Rialto here for us as casters, for the ones at home that are watching. And, you know, maybe there's some events that could happen, and there's some events that can't. Shoebill Nation, you are trying to finish out this series, and if you are Tarnished, you are trying to neutral the scoreline 2-2 to head into map 5 after this. Will it be that victory that Tarnished will need? We are about to see, as we get to see no substitutions in line of sight.
Absolutely, and I'm actually kind of surprised Paul Saint is going to be staying in, only because she was so proficient on the Freya, and I kind of thought that's what she was going to default to when we did walk into Rialto. However, with that favorite hero being Widowmaker, I am also kind of like, yeah, it makes sense why she would stay if we are going to be running Widowmaker here on Rialto, which it would make sense completely. Otherwise, no other swaps really at all. Actually, wait, simple math is coming in. Hold on.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
Oh, simple math. Is it simple? It's mathy. I'm ready. Hold on. Okay. Oh, no. I saw someone named... Okay, no. It's just Leg Sway. Never mind. I'm lying to you. I was like, who's Simple Math? maybe I missed the whole time.
Maybe it was like a production mistake.
No, never. My prod would never make a mistake. It's always my fault, actually. I'm always the wrong. I'm always the wrong.
All right, well, let's talk about these lineups here as we're getting to see just with the heroes that Tarnished and Shoebill have selected. We're getting to see a Hog played here, which, you know, is kind of a menace towards you, especially your ranked games. But oh, wait, okay.
Oh,
the goodness. Sigma is actually a lot smarter here. This is fair.
And I was going to say, like, Sigma, very good. I love the Sigma here. However, we are seeing Pausane kind of peek out a little bit, peek her head out, look at this Genji, not get deflected, thankfully. And now we're going to swap over to maybe Soj, maybe a little Ashe, maybe the Sojourn. Yes, and the Mythic Weapon. Oh, I see you. I see you. You are a real grinder here. But That being said, Shadowy finds Zuri first in the engagement. Han follows right after the fact. So the defense phase so far for Shoebill Nation is going, or the attack phase, sorry, is going very, very well for these guys as they are already pushing up into Tarnished's territory.
Yeah, Shoebill Nation with this aggression is really key factors here in this early entry point of Rialto. We haven't gotten to see Rialto in for quite a bit, and with these two teams playing as this aggression style, it's going to be something that other teams are definitely going to be something to look up into. But Yuri, getting the pickup on the Shadow.
Yeah, first one going down being Shadowy is not really what you want to see if you're Shoebill Nation, because your main really frontline force is gone, or your backline force is gone in the way of, you know, losing out on Shadowy. However, we're still able to restabilize a little bit here. We are seeing, unfortunately, Black Shui get kind of cornered out in the front and the back by this Winston and by this Tracer. Thankfully, we restabilized for Shoebill Nation. We're going to be resetting here on the bridge if you are Tarnished with this Ana and this Kiriko. Double flex support backline, actually. Love to see it.
Yeah, ultimates here, climbing in percentages for both of the two teams. On a Nano, almost there as we're getting to see 90%, but Yuri ready to go with the pulse. Sleep up on the Blaze Shui though.
Oh, Posam goes wide, but only finds the Lamb from High Wind, but unfortunately, Spec is going to be taking care of their flex support matchup there against the Baptiste. And just like that, Han comes back with a 1 and 2 for himself. And it's another great hold here for Tarnished. What can Shoebill Nation do? They have the Tidal Blast, but really everything else needs to be built up after the fact.
Well, Shoebill Nation, as of right now, they're coming close towards that Sigma Ultimate that they could definitely use here in this next entry fighting phase. But even CC, if you want to go aggressive with that Ultimate, you can. But as we get to see a little bit of a combination there.
Oh, you hear the Tidal Blast get committed here. CC actually goes in for that little bit of a stun after the fact onto Amnesia, who has now built up the primal post Nano from Peter Piper. Peter Pan Pickle Pepper. That's what I was trying to say. In all seriousness, though, really good Nano from Pika Pepper, and Amnesia now has the Stalwart Primal in the back end. Now we have CC on Lucio.
Yeah, CC back here up on the Lucio pick. I think this is very beneficial towards Shoebill Nation. You get very aggressive here, but Kitsune Rush getting buffed and haunt with this blade.
Oh no, the Flux is committed, but Black Shui will be called out by Haunt in the meantime. And I mean, you lose out Amnesia, but that's Winston. Winston comes back so quickly, being a more mobile tank hero. But we got back up because now Black Shui has now mirrored the Genji, is now looking at Haunt with some really hungry eyes. You're stuck. Ooh. Oh, you're, ooh. Okay, we're chilling. No, we're not chilling. Oh my god, please. We're chilling.
When the blade? Oh my gosh. So Shadowy just trying to swing. Shoebill Nation, though, they are down CC, and you're looking at that time, think just dwindling down for Shoebill Nation. Tarnished, though, are still set up in a great position here against Shoebill Nation, which they could definitely re-engage with.
Just 5 seconds left. Pika Pepper is going to be the first one to go down for the side of Tarnished. We trade off for Pa Sane. However, Black Shui is back in the engagement, back on the objective to now mirror it out against Amnesia, who's kind of stuck in this small little corner here. Nothing online, just raw fundamentals and raw mechanics will get either team through either the defense or this attack. Spec has no one to teleport to. Amnesia is continuously trading out what Black Shui is offering. The nade goes wide onto the side of Black Shui, but they're still alive to continue this 1v1 against their Winston. Both bubbles down, now both bubbles are out of the engagement. We're at overtime. There's just only 70 meters left on the objective. Here comes a Nano, though. Big Suzu comes through. However, that Nano is crazy. Just what we need to keep everyone off the point. And Shoebill Nation are stopped right at the spearhead as like a first point.
Yuri was going crazy, but the re-engage there from the whole entire team of Tarnished just to aggress into that line was so crucial there. And now they hold them on that first point. And if you are Tarnished, this is your chance to neutralize the series here to 2-2. This is perfect. You start out with 4 here up on your attack. Your defense was insane. But you know what Shoebill Nation can do? This is Rialto. I haven't casted this map in forever, but you know, even you, I mean, you've played Rialto, you know what happens here. Shoebill Nation, they could also do a little bit of a holding defensive phase. Because I think that first point hold is probably the hardest point in the whole entire map. The first point, and maybe even the third.
Yo. First point is like taking... I don't even know what it's like. It's like getting all your teeth ripped out and your fingernails. It's just so difficult. Especially when you're just kind of...
I love that.
It's when it's more difficult because you walk through with like all of this momentum, all of this, like you get right to the tail end, of that first objective right at the checkpoint. And then boom, guess what? To get to the checkpoint for defense, it's just a straight shot from the spawn room. They're right there every single time. It's so difficult. And it can be kind of tilting. So it all comes down to just the mental battle. And if you're Tarnished, you're looking very good. You held them at first, basically just get the first point and you will win. You come out, see Malga, you're like, oh big anti-nade from Pika Pepper. So it doesn't even matter if you're playing Malga. And this is what I was talking about, the momentum-based gameplay here on Rialto. Tarnished is running with it completely in their favor. There goes Shadowy, and there goes CC.
Oh. Yeah, and Yuri's just able to capitalize every single time there, and it is very crucial to keep your team alive here if you are Shoebill Nation, as we're just getting to see that time bank is still a lot of time for Tarnished just to push that to that next, phase of events. But Shoebill Nation, they still got a long ways to hold, especially when it's closing in.
As I'm talking about 3 minutes left on the clock, and you're telling me I have to hold here for 3 minutes? Yeah, get me out my comp game right now. We have Hunt on this high ground now, pretty much clearing it out from the DPS and supports, and CC overstaying her welcome, actually re-engages on the objective, and we need someone to touch, but it's not going to be Paul Sane. It's not going to be, arguably not going to be the backline either, as we're going down this Kiriko, we're going down Blystraight as well, and it's just my poor old Hana, I think, left, and that's it. Tarnished have successfully brought us over to a game number 5.
And as I'm saying, is that Philadelphia skin? Oh my gosh, wait, it is! This is reminding me of the older moments of OWL in Rialto. Oh my gosh, that is such a flashback for me at least. I'm not sure if that's a flashback for you, but I was a Philadelphia fan. Looking back at even like a Rialto map. I think it was EQO. I mean, EQO was insane up on the Genji, but Yuri,
so, yeah.
a insane player coming in here from Tarnished, and just everyone playing the key factors and events for Tarnished there to equalize the score here 2-2 against Shoebill Nation.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they've been able to completely even up the scoreboard to 2-2 is absolutely insane. However, we're going to give our players a quick little break because, again, they have been just back and forth so crazy every single time we've seen them on the stream. So we're going to go to a very quick break, give them 3 minutes to get their things together, get their waters, get their bathroom breaks, anything like that. And we're going to see you guys on the other side of whoever is the victor of the map 5 between Shoebill Nation and Tarnished. We'll be right back.
Water is the softest and most yielding substance. Yet, nothing is better than water for overcoming the hard and rigid, because nothing can compete with it. Lao Tzu.
Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave.
Just been clashing back and forth, and as we do get to see, we have the score lines up on our screens. They have been doing really well, I'd have to say. I mean, it's been very back and forth. Surabasa was extremely close. Rialto, that was a crazy finisher. You probably didn't expect Shoebill Nation to get stopped there. That was just a crazy stomp from Tarnished, though. You know, able to hold that one very defensively and, you know, capitalizing on that victory there in Rialto. But, Mont, we have a wonderful map here coming up, and it's going to be King's Row. We're about to see maybe more Widowmaker getting played.
Listen, we might see a lot here with King's Row, okay? With King's Row, this now introduces the concept, the mystical concept of a map 6. If we draw on King's Row, that's the only way we can possibly get to the map 6. But again, I wouldn't have it any other way, especially with how even these two teams are, you know? So with King's Row into play, with Hybrid as a map itself coming into play, that I just had to mention it. This could go into the mythical unicorn map 6, right? But first, we gotta go for our very much in real stone, you know, in reality bands here for Shoebill Nation, who will be at map 4, which, as you mentioned, was extremely story of an escort map. Do you ever really see the end of like Circuit Royale of Gibraltar? No, because they're just meant to be played on first and only first point.
Yeah, and also to say, like, Rialto attack for Tarnished, that was like absolutely so quick of events all the way for Tarnished. Like, they would go in with the dive, they'd get the picks, they would follow up in the kill feed, and they would just push back the side of Shoebill Nation. But as we just saw up on our screens and the ones at home watching, Ana was picked for the side of Shoebill Nation, and now we have Tarnished, which comes off of a wonderful victory on Rialto. They have such a great momentum for this next map, which is King's Row. But let's see what they choose here for their ban. It's in between damage and tank.
Ana ban, you know what's gonna happen here? We're on King's Row. There's an Ana ban. It's a brawl map. I'm gonna see Malga. So why not ban Reaper on top of that? You know, if you know you want to play maybe like a Malga or anything like that, banning Reaper kind of inhibits a little bit of a possibility of a Zarya brawl as well to be seen from both these teams, because they both played her at some point with differing successors. You know, we saw Zarya Genji as one team, and then we had the other playing that Zarya Reaper. So if we also see Zarya as an option, this is something that kind of inhibits what makes her really good, is kind of sending someone in for fodder, aka Reaper or Genji, and you know, getting like 40-50 charge off of that initially. So these two bans are very smart. They're very like layered. I love layered bans. I love knowledgeable bans. As we go over to the rosters, no swaps to be seen. I'm gonna be sticking with what we have seen basically from map 2 and onwards. Excuse me. Shoebill Nation will opt to attack first. We're gonna get Tarnished on the defense, and it's gonna be an interesting one. I feel like King's Row always is a pleasing surprise every time I watch her.
Yeah, definitely. I have to agree with you. Interesting is the word of the whole entire series. You've got to see this go back and forth between two of these two phenomenal teams here to start off the opening week here of Open in CGL. And hey, it's a new season for everyone to watch, especially if you're even a lower division team. This could be something to look up to, especially at a VOD review, even some upper teams here up in the, more further up divisions like these two. But as we're getting to see two of these two teams play and fixture what compositions they want to pick here up on King's Row, they are going to be switching in between more of the quick pace, I would probably say. I definitely still agree having the Lucio there to go extremely quick, work with the speeds, but I like what both of the DPS lines are bringing into this too. Yuri still playing the Genji.
And Paulson also getting off this Widowmaker, going back to what made her a menace in the first place, which was this Freya, which we had seen previously all the way back on Runasapi. Haunt does take out High Wind extremely early, however, which is not really favorable to the side of Shoebill Nation, but now we're going to be stomping into this small little statue area. If you are a Black Shui, we lose CC, however. You know, Haunt has really just been uncontested. Now, suddenly, that means that you have to be out of dodge immediately, and we're going to go for a quick little reset for Black Shui.
Yeah, Fleshway able to get a tad bit pressured there from Haunt, but wonderful work here if you are Haunt to kind of go forward into that backline. You want to put as much pressure onto those supports as possible, forcing those abilities out from Shoebill Nation. So let's see what happens here. A little bit of a Tracer Dole there happening.
Yeah, really good scout. Just kind of hiding out actually from Haunt, forcing Shadowy to use the recall extremely early here. Now Yuri taking the place of Haunt just for a little bit of couple seconds into the Autosworth Hotel, but not for very long. Now we're gonna get a first tick on the board here in favor of Shoebill Nation, now forcing out a lot of the opposition. Yuri's super low, you can see in that kill feed, or not even the kill feed, but also was in the spectator feed, and you can also see, you know, no one really wants to go in front of this Zarya, who I think is pretty high charge from Black Shui. Paul saying on the Freya already has Bola shot, finds Haunt post ominous, or not post ominously, but very delayed engagement and really delayed kill in favor of Pausane. And that's kind of what Freya brings to the table. There's gonna be no touch on Amnesia, who is, mind you, there, but doesn't really go in for a last minute touch. So that's gonna be the first point given to Shoebill Nation, and they're gonna have 4 minutes and 45 seconds to push this street phase of King's Row.
Yes, and both ultimates from both of the two sides, Tarnished and Shoebill Nation. They're going to be trying to look for something very special here coming up into this next fight. And a lot of time bank in the side of Shoebill Nation to push this one forward. The Kitsune Rush getting used.
You can see Black Shui has 0 bubbles, so that's going to be a big dive coming in onto Amnesia. Pausane trades off the tank for the Tracer, and we also get the pulse on subsequently onto Yuri. So without that DPS force, I mean, you might be lacking a tank, but if you can kind of out-pressure this back line and also put enough pressure onto the front line, and Amnesia's backing up towards the Mega Pack, we force out the D.Va with the Bola shot, which was interestingly enough, but it does do its job. You're at the staircase of basically the end marker of second point, and you got just kind of deal with that while Black Shui is now walking back in with all this momentum shifted by his DPS.
Oh, and that was a definitely great recall here from Shadowy, as both of the Tracers were trying to control that area, but Highwind going quick with the Kitsune Rush. Can this be the moment that Shoebill needs?
I'm just glad the beat came off. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was gonna be an Ajax or something, seeing how really focused Shadowy was onto a spec here. But with that sort of sound barrier being offline, I'm a little worried because not only do they have anything in response to maybe an aggressive sound barrier from CC.
Blade?
However, it does come in clutch against his Dragon Blade, and so does the grab, both of which will be at least finding one body, that being Spec. Haunt might be going down after the fact, but not before losing out on high win. Pick up finding the matchup in their favor. But the Diva Bomb does get used here. No bubbles on line, but thankfully retreat back to the cafe of Kings Row, and we continue to keep this fight ongoing at very high charge.
Yeah, and something to kind of point out there, CC was able to use that beat matrix there to counter the side of Yuri's blade, which that was excellent placement there from CC in Shoebill Nation. Hossein, though, ready to go with this bullet shot. Shadowy also almost charging up that pulse. Shadowy able to get Yuri. This is great engage plan.
We lose Pausing though, and now we have a continued rush going against us if you're Shoebill Nation. So now you have to really just back up immediately to that first corner. Pulsar goes wide from Shadowy, doesn't really find too much. Haunt, on the other hand of things, does have his own pulse bomb to be expended. Blake Shui is unfortunately kind of separated from the team a tiny bit here. Did kind of sneak away with the Mega Pack away from Haunt. That's a resource that will not be available to the Tracer player. But as you said, Bullet Shot is online, and these fights are just kind of melding one after another. You can see Pausing setting up on this high ground against Yuri, who is unsuspecting, none the wiser. And Amnesia might be the next one to go, but the Suzu comes in, and there goes Pika with a headshot.
That is absolutely crazy there from Pika, able to follow up onto Pausing, shutting down basically the Freya usage there, but Freya still has that ultimate ready to go to come back. Pausing can pop that any second now, but Leishway using the Graviton.
But Blashway is not going to be able to find any sort of value with it. Just finds Pika Pepper, but that's fine. We're going to lose on CC, however, in the last bit of this engagement. And of course, Highwind, with no one really to teleport to, that's going to be the end of the attack phase for Shoebill Nation. And mind you, we started off with about 4 minutes and 45 seconds. We've dwindled this down to almost under a minute.
Do we say that this is kind of looking like Rialto in ways, right? Tarnished, kind of trying to hold the same factor. Shadowy, though, using this Pulse Bomb, doesn't land on anyone, though. So that could be very crucial leading to this next fight. Pulsing, still ready to go.
And we're charging up this Dart Bubble, though. I'm seeing these missiles go fly everywhere. Both sound barriers will be used here, one aggressively, one defensively. However, it still goes anyway. Blazeway just needs to make sure that we don't go down at any point during this last minute of this fight, because this could melt into one of the last fights we have for Shoebill Nation to regain this objective. Yuri just now building up this Dragon Blade, but I don't think he's gonna be able to proc at any moment. And Nisha falling down after the fact. Oh no, eats a bowler shot! That's massive! And we can put the bomb as well, and there's no one around the touch. Oh, just half a minute left here.
Oh, and that is just crazy events happening here. And as we get to see Doomfist now getting swapped to Shoebill Nation, they are in a staggering position to get back up into this one. Shadowy almost with his Pulse Bomb ready to go. Can it be the crucial moment that Shoebill Nation need to stay alive up in this?
Now hold on, we did kill Yuri in the middle of his Dragon Blade. And we were also able to take care of Amnesia before any sort of remake could happen. It's just poor old Haunt trying his best to at least stall. But that's the end of the fight. With Doomfist of all characters, it works out.
I just saw 3 melees up in the kill feed, back to back to back. That is crazy in between these two teams. Shoebill Nation trying to still stay alive up in this one. They get 3 up on the board for them. They want to put this one a little more further, but Haunt still ready to go with that Pulse Bomb.
We sure are. Also 80% to the Meteor Strike for Blashway, which could actually go kind of crazy, especially onto the back line, maybe forcing a Suzu or anything like that from Pika Pepper, who is already halfway to the Kitsune Rush. However, Highwind, will be the one to be a little bit ahead in that regard. Plus, I'm still online for Haunt. Shall be booting up to their own very quickly here. The neutral is going crazy. We're under a minute again here, so anything could really happen. 90% to a Dragon Strike. We are hearing the Meteor Strike does get committed here from Blashway, but we're called out away from the team. The car's still moving though.
Oh So much events can happen at once. CC though popping the Beat Matrix to kind of keep the team still alive here. They have 2 ultimates of their DPS, but can we lock in here if you are Shoebill Nation to get 3 on the side of Tarnished with your attack?
I mean, this pulse bomb and this bullet shot needs to be impactful. It has to land on its marks. And ideally, you want to unspec pre-sound barrier, but not going to quite find it, as unfortunately, this Kiriko is being looked at by all angles first, and then second down. Bullet shot does get used from Pausane, but finds nothing. We trade the Kirikos out. However, we are going to get a D-mech of Amnesia. Pulse bomb goes wide onto the left side of the objective. There's no Diva. There's no spec.
CC.
Who else is next? It's going to be CC next and Yuri, and it's just Pika Pepper coming in for a touch. Will it be fruitful or fruitless? As we are going to get the melee kill onto the Kiriko. Haunt just here left with the side, or fighting against the side of the Doomfist and the opposing Tracer. Amnesia can see him coming out from the right side. There goes Haunt though. Shadowy does have recall, but needs to be very wary how we use it, as we are going to be punching Spec into that small room. But Yuri comes in with the Dragon Blade, finds 2. Will it be enough though?
Oh, this could definitely be it, as we get to see that overtime tick down. Tarnished are gonna be able to shut down that push that Shoebill Nation were looking so good on. I mean, we got to see so much great kill feed there towards the end, but wow, that was such a great watch.
That was just a nail biter, 1000%. It was just anything could have went wrong if Yuri died during Dragon Blade, if we lost CC before, or if we lost CC at any point, and you're trying to build up that sound barrier.
Definitely.
You know, trading off both Kirikos was very, very impactful, I would say, and more so for Tarnished because they have that attacker's respawn, or defending respawn kind of advantage at the very last tail end of King's Row. So Amnesia, even though Amnesia was demec'd, killed, and then in spawn for so long, especially with overtime spawners being so unforgiving, there was so much stall from Haunt that Amnesia was able to, you know, slide right back in there and just put so much pressure onto Black Shui and the rest of the team. You know, you can only do so much coming in from the attacker spawn all the way to 3rd point King's Row.
Yes, I definitely agree with you here. But King's Row in North America is such action-packed. Every time we watch it, either teams play at professional teams, lower teams, it's always interesting. And it is another fight for Tarnished here up on this attack phase. Looking back at the last map, we got to see them engage super quickly. Can this happen again?
We might. I mean, they were very proficient on their attack phase, and I'm sure as we are seeing a flip of the high ground here in favor of Tarnished, and no high win for Shoebill Nation, they're looking, again, very proper here as we start off this attack phase extremely strong. No CC, no Pausane just momentarily, as we actually go for the self-destruct for Pausane, definitely by accident. But it's a very, very quick flip for 1 tick, maybe even 2 ticks if we're even trying to go for a recontest. And I don't think they're going to have time to do so. They're going to set up for a 2nd point as we get they're going to get like a fat 5 minutes in this time bank, like 5.5 minutes. Oh my gosh.
All right, quickest cap in first week history of CGL seasons.
It might be.
Here up in King's Row. Yeah, that was fantastic from Tarnished. And as we're getting to see that ultimate economy build up, Haunt is going to have that pulse bomb here, but a little dangerous in the corridor.
Dangerous indeed. There goes Pika Pepper. First one going down. Oh no. From Black Shui, who is actually committing to Doomfist of all characters. Like, character didn't really see get played seriously, you know, very good at these last minute touches, but I think seeing how well the Doomfist played into 3rd point of King's Row, I don't disagree with kind of trying him out for this Diva, which is clearly doing wonders. CC finds Haunt in the neutral of the fight of everything, and everyone else, like Shadowy, is setting up on this right hand side with Pulse Bomb pretty much charged up.
You see what you're doing, Shadowy. You're waiting for that moment to use that Pulse Bomb, but you gotta be aware of what Haunt could do too. Wait, is he gonna shut... Wait, is Shadowy gonna shut down this? Oh, wait, that would be crazy.
Either way, even if that Pulse Bomb didn't go as planned, Spec is still very much being harassed by Haunt or by Shadowy. There we go. Boom, bam, bob. Spec is down for the count. We see the D-Mech as well come to fruition here in favor of Shoebill Nation, getting Amnesia out of here. Even more so, gonna be seeing the stagger of a lifetime on the poor Baby Diva, who is so festive. So festive. Has the remake. Low-key, I'll remake them and see if I can get a squish. That'll be really funny. But no, there's the melee. There's the stall. It's done.
Amnesia feeling a tad bit jolly there, and festive as you just saw. Tarnished ready to go still with their ultimate economy. They could definitely get back up into this one. A lot was up in their time bank, right? But a lot's happening up top as Spec falls down.
Yo, Yuri just survived that. Yuri survived being punched in the face by Black Shui and not like meleeed after or fired at after. That's actually quite impressive. 5-minute time bank or 5.5-minute time bank now dwindled down to just 3.5 minutes. Still a lot of time, especially when we proc things and start things off with a very strong continuing rush from Pika Pepper. But with everyone out of the radius of that continuing rush, I mean, you would think that it wouldn't really matter too much. But losing CC, losing that speed boost factor is big hurts for Shoebill Nation.
Yeah, definitely. And looking even at the score of this Kings Row 1, Shoebill Nation did not cap 3. So this is basically on the line for any of these two teams in this lobby. It's going to be the matter of fact to pop ultimates, as we're getting to see a lot.
I'm not going to see a lot of Shadow, unfortunately, but I do see two Dragon Blades on the field. Yuri does go for, his own against Paw Sane, who also went for hers. But there goes Yuri, taken down by the slam, the new slam, may I say, of Black Shui. And with that being said, you're still seeing the cart move effectively, but with Haunt now kind of being pincered between Black Shui and the rest of the team of Shoebill Nation, this should be a hard stop in favor of Shoebill Nation. Now they can regain the defense and actually get the D-Mech, forcing out the Diva Bomb as well, which Black Shui is going to take the full brunt of, by the way. Get destroyed by Baby Diva. Pokemon finds Yuri, though, so I would just reset if I'm Tarnished.
Yeah, I agree with you here, Tarnished. You need to get back up into a position that you're going to be very comfy with, right? You have Haunt ready to go with this Pulse Bomb, which Haunt can really just flank around anywhere as a Tracer player. Shadowy, though, they don't have Pulse, so they're going to be playing mainly with their team, but Shui getting to pick up on the Yuri here to entrance this next fight.
Yeah, unfortunately, not really gonna be seeing Yuri for a very long time, if at all. Same thing with Pika Pepper, who is trying their best to not, get shafted by this backline. Actually finds Highwind in the meantime when they TP'd out. Amnesia also gets a melee kill onto CC in the Baby Diva form. Finds a Mega Pack, has a Lucio there to help him out. And thankfully, forcing that recall from Shadowy. I mean, Shadowy knows we gotta back out now, but I mean, Spec is on the prowl.
Shadow's getting chased. Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, that is wild, though. But we're getting to see Tarnished run forward with this. You have 3 down if you're Shoebill Nation. Ultimate economy-wise, though, if you're looking at Shoebill Nation, you're going to have that Doomfist ultimate coming back into this, and possibly Shadowy getting back up into this. But they 2 back up. That's a smart position.
Okay, holding block is Black Shui. Does get charged up a little bit here. That punch is going to be really impactful. You can really see how... You can hear how impactful it is. But Pika Pepper is out of there by the skin of their teeth. Now Black Shui does get super out-pressured and forces the Meteor Strike. However, everyone's kind of dead. Supports are down for the side of Shoebill Nation. We're down Paw Sane. We're going to be down Shadowy in just a couple of seconds. And it's just Black Shui who's trying to stay alive. Stall. We do just reinvigorate 2 minutes on the clock here, and we're now keeping Shadowy super far back. I mean, you're all the way on first point, buddy.
Yeah, and here we go. This is the crucial moment of the whole entire series. 1:50 remaining up on the clock. Anything could happen here in this third initial push for both of the teams if you're defending or attacking. A lot of ultimates up on both sides. Who's going to be able to pop first? It is going to be Shoebill Nation, maybe? Yes!
Paw Sane finds one with the Dragon Blade. Both of these Genjis kind of going crazy. It was an Ajax. Oh, it sure was. Oh, you're right.
Oh, wow.
What a shutdown of the sound
stick
barrier. The stick was good. Paw Sane saying anything right still, so no one is a victim of that of the rest of that pulse bomb. What a shutdown from Shoebill Nation.
Yeah, wonderful work here from the side of the Nation. And Tarnished, they only got 1 minute and 5 seconds to cap this whole entire series to make it theirs. Can they do it? Kitsune Rush bots. And Blade.
Okay. Not going to see a reverse Ajax here, thankfully, from CC, as we do get a Sound Barrier off right in time to shut down Yuri's Dragon Blade. And he's just struggling to find any sort of value with his D.Va in the last little stretch of third point of King's Row. I was about to say Gibraltar. Of King's Row. Shadowy has Pulse Bomb at least, but everything else from Tarnished looking very, very dry.
Yeah, Tarnished, this is a little scary here for you. You were looking very good in King's Row just for that entry point of your attack. Shadowy, though, with his Pulse Bomb ready to go. This could get placed on anyone, Mon, and it is. It's going to be stuck to the D.Va, but the D.Va is still up in mech. It's D-mech, though.
Yeah, but not for very long, and destroyed in the last just 10 seconds. But the tanks are traded off here. It comes down to mechanics. It comes down to just being the better DPS and supports of either of these teams. Blackstray just now getting respawned, should be able to come back in time. This cart should round this corner now, and now you're looking down the barrel of the last part of King's Row. Blackstray trying to charge up this block, does get charged up. Now we go to the high ground, negate Yuri, who is on top of our, negate this Pausane, who's on Yuri the entire time. But Blaine, oh, Blackstray is out of there. There goes Pausane. I think they got a little too, oh no, they got a little too active. They got too confident.
Oh my. And I think that's is going to conclude that one.
Oh
wow.
My. There's no way that's how it ends. Shoebill Nation, I'm going to say it, they got too greedy on that high ground. They were trying too hard to get onto this Kiriko without many resources to back it up. And that was just the end all be all.
I agree with you. I think they definitely overextended there, which caused them to lose that winning factor towards the end of that match here up in the series. And yeah, I mean, just there was a ton to see in between of these two teams, but looking at the recap here, in between all the scores on all the maps that we got to play here, this was a wonderful series in our hands as casters, and a production working behind the back to do everything for us to get those scores in every single playing view camera that we're able to see here. But the score line 2-0, 0-1, 2-3, 1-0, and 3-2. I mean, Tarnished looking really good here to start their season here in Season 16 in the fresh new Open Tier Week 1, which it's exciting, but I'm going to let you take these bans here for this next one.
Yeah, I mean, a quick little recap of the bans. I do think that they were all impactful in their own ways, and I think, arguably, Shoebill Nation had slightly stronger bans because it allowed them to get a 2-1 lead up against Tarnished for at least for a little bit there. And then Tarnished kind of locked in. They're like, we don't want to play against a Freya on any of the payload maps. We want to play against Reaper on payload maps. Why not ban the Freya and the Reaper? And it really just did work out, just completely hyper-focusing on the DPS line of Shoebill Nation, and it really did work out in their favor. They brought it back in map 4, and then we went over to all the way on third point of King's Row. And again, it just comes down to the fact that I just think Shoebill Nation got a little bit too... They got too greedy. They got a little bit too greedy. They got a little bit too active on that back line, and everyone is going to turn around at a Doomfist and a Genji looking at my Kiriko, because my Kiriko cannot die right now, you know? So with that being said, the 3-2 victory goes to Tarnished, which is absolutely fantastic. And another little treat they get is a little interview with us. So we're going to get their interview candidate in our voice chat in a couple of seconds. We're going to get that set up in a couple of minutes as well. So we're going to go to a very quick break and get our interview from Tarnished in just a couple of minutes. And we're back. We are here with Yuri. Yuri, we were talking about a little bit earlier. I know it was a very intense game for you and your team. Can you walk me through the highs and lows between going up a game, going down 2 games, and then getting back, getting that win? What was that looking like for you guys?
It was a lot of back and forth. We had to communicate really well. There's some maps where I'm not gonna lie, we just trolled. Or I don't know why, but we just trolled. But no, it was just just had to regroup, just talk it through, and yeah, it went great for us after the end.
It's really excellent stuff, Yuri. Something to point out, and something that I actually would just want to question, was your mindset and mental going through this whole entire series here, through this week 1. What did you expect of your team entering into Shoebill Nation, which has been here in these scenarios before? Did you guys have anything going into this match that you kind of want to point out towards anyone that's watching?
Well, to be honest, I don't know I didn't know what to expect. This is my first time ever playing this league, and I know there's really great teams, and especially around team base, they really know how to communicate and use util really well, and that's what I kind of expected, and yeah, I think we worked really well around it.
Oh, I absolutely agree with you. You guys popped off after that game 4 and game 5. I was like, oh, they're done. And no, I was trolling. So speaking of game 4, and that was Rialto, if you recall correctly. You guys just absolutely kind of wiped the floor, and arguably Rialto isn't a very popular map in map pools. So was Rialto a map choice that you guys knew you guys scrimmed all the time, or was it kind of just let's catch them off guard and see what we can do here? You're laughing, so I know I got to answer about this one. What was the Rialto vibe?
Well, to be honest, I play for 2 teams, right? And this is the team I play for, right? And we don't really scrim. All of us, last week we tried to book a scrim, but it didn't work out. And we haven't scrimmed maybe a month, or I don't know. It's been a while.
Wow.
So it was a bit interesting because we haven't scrimmed, and our comms aren't great. Team base rate, I don't know. It was all over the place. We just had to work around it, I guess. And for the map choice, we don't scrim, we just picked it, I guess. And yeah, there wasn't no strategy or anything. It was just
just vibes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to say, I mean, the team synergy on your team going into that last map with the leading momentum off of Rialto, like how Mott said, right? You had a wonderful phenomenon of aggression attack phase coming out from a defense phase, which was crazy stuff to hold against Shoebill Nation. So going into that game 5, what was your key point to start off that map to get stuff running for you guys in King's Row?
I think in the beginning it was really tough because like I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of bad. The comp they were on, it was just like a very
it's okay
Genji anti like. I had to work around it, you know. Shout out to Haunt. He absolutely carried that last map. Really great player. Without him, I don't think we would have won. But it was mostly like just like working around. Like it was.
That being the shout out question, is there anyone you have in mind to give a shout out to on the broadcast?
Yeah. Oh, broadcast. Okay. Shout out to my whole team. You know, Dementia, Pika, Haunt, Spec. They're all great players. I wish you guys the best, and I really look forward to like in playing this league. I really want to like make a splash with our team. So, yeah.
Well, I think you did that and more with how you guys played today. So with that being said, I'll let you go. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Tell the team we said hey from the prod team, and we'll see you guys in the next couple of weeks for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
No problem. Have a good one.
You too.
And with that being said, that is the end of the broadcast. That is the end of our series for today. And let's get a quick little recap of what we've seen here on CGL for today's matches from all the way across the pond. EMEA, it's online, but you know, you get the vibe. We have My Strategy with the 3-1 against Bliss Marauders T6, and we just finished an insane Map 5 Nail Biter series in the NA Open with Tarnished versus Shoebill Nation. It has been a wonderful one. It has always been a pleasure to commentate with you. Any final words before we sign out for the day?
Well, all I gotta say is if you're any team or any fan watching these two teams play, you want to watch out for them. And these two teams could just be the two teams that you might see in that grand final here in the Open Tier. But there's much to say. We still got plenty weeks ahead. I am Naya, joined by Monaneva, and this was North American Open Tier here in the Week 1 Season 16 of CGL. But we will see you guys very, very shortly with our next couple matches of next week. So see you guys shortly there.